Did you know that your dog or cat may be severely deficient in nutrition, even if they follow a BARF diet? Many owners believe they are doing their best, but ignore silent symptoms that indicate severe imbalance. In this video, we reveal the 7 most dangerous and hidden signs that your pet's body may be giving, and how you can fix each of them simply and immediately, without compromising long-term health. Your dog seems to be eating well, but still, something is not right. The fur lost its shine, the energy has decreased, and little by little small signs begin to appear, signs so subtle that they go unnoticed by most owners. These are the silent symptoms of deficiency in BARF, and understanding what each of them represents can be the difference between a healthy dog and a chronic condition that could have been avoided with a simple adjustment to the plate. Natural BARF-type food brings numerous benefits: healthier skin, strengthened immunity, fewer allergies, balanced behavior. But it needs to be done with awareness, variety, and balance. Unlike an ultra-processed food, BARF requires the tutor to observe, adapt, and know how to identify what is working and what may be failing. The problem? The animal's body does not always warn with a direct symptom. Sometimes the warning comes in the form of apathy, itching, discrete spotting, or behavioral changes that seem to have another origin. And that's where the risk lies. Let's talk about 7 silent symptoms of deficiency in BARF: real, clinical, and often ignored symptoms. With each of them, we will understand what it means, what nutrients may be missing, and how to correct this in your dog's diet. Based on veterinary studies, real cases of care and monitoring of tutors in the United States, this guide is for those who take their pet's health seriously and know that BARF is powerful, but it's not magic. It requires attention. 1. Dull and lifeless coat. If your dog's coat has lost its shine, is rough to the touch, or has flaws, the cause may lie in specific deficiencies: zinc, biotin, and essential fatty acids. Most owners start BARF by offering lean cuts of meat, but forget to include real sources of good fat, such as chicken skin, sardine oil, or egg yolk. In addition, the absence of viscera such as liver, which are very rich sources of biotin and zinc, can directly compromise the health of the hair. In breeds such as Husky, Border Collie, and Golden Retriever, this symptom usually appears even more clearly. Correction. Gradually introduce natural sources of fat, such as cooked chicken skin, fish oil, capsule or liquid, as well as fresh offal, beef liver for example, in small portions per week. Assess the consistency of the stool with each adjustment. 2. Persistent itching and pink skin. It's common to attribute itching to food allergies, but in BARF, itching can mean a lack of vitamin E, fatty acids, or excess lean muscle protein with no counterpart fat or antioxidants. A diet rich only in chicken breast, for example, can cause an inflammatory imbalance. The skin begins to turn pink, then reddened, especially in regions such as the belly, armpits, and ears. Fix. Include antioxidant vegetables, such as zucchini, lightly cooked broccoli, or butternut squash, as well as adjust the proportion of fat in the dish. Introducing cold-pressed krill or flaxseed oil can make a difference within a few days. 3. Stools that are too dry or too hard. This is one of the signs most ignored by beginners. Hard, dry, and hard-to-eliminate stools can indicate excess raw bone in the diet, especially if the owner is using a lot of chicken neck, bone in thighs, or carcass without balancing with offal and vegetables. When this occurs, the dog may begin to avoid having a bowel movement due to pain, and even develop fissures. Fix. Reduce the proportion of fleshy bones, increase the inclusion of viscera, and add natural fibers such as cooked pumpkin, kale, and a small amount of hydrated oats. 4. Unusual apathy and sleepiness. Does your dog sleep a lot? Is he discouraged or seems to have no energy? This can be a sign of iron deficiency, B vitamins, or lack of protein variety. Monothematic diets, such as offering only beef or only chicken, end up limiting the variety of micronutrients. Iron, for example, is better absorbed from sources such as bovine heart and liver, but many owners do not use these cuts out of fear or disgust. Fix. Vary the type of protein, introduce lean pork, fish such as sardines or mackerel, include organs such as the heart, source of CoQ10 and heme iron, and add egg yolk 2 to 3 times a week. 5. Dark spots or peeling between the toes. The appearance of dark areas or discrete inflammation on the paws can indicate zinc deficiency or digestive problems related to the microbiota. In BARF, zinc is often overlooked, as its absorption depends on the presence of certain minerals and fats in the dish. The microbiota, on the other hand, can be unbalanced with diets low in fermentable fiber. Fix increased sources of zinc, such as liver and crushed pumpkin seeds. Use natural probiotics like kefir or unsweetened full-fat yogurt in small amounts, and evaluate the use of prebiotic vegetables like chicory and shredded raw carrots. 6. Low mass gain or resistant thinness. Even eating well, doesn't the dog gain muscle mass? It is possible that there is a calorie deficit, low nutritional density, or silent digestive problems. This is common in dogs that are given raw food that is too cold, straight from the refrigerator, or poorly distributed throughout the day. Another common mistake is to use excessively lean cuts and avoid fat for fear of diarrhea, which deprives the animal of the energy it really needs. Correction: offer food at room temperature, never cold. Fractionate meals include quality fat, such as chicken skin, homemade lard, or extra virgin olive oil in drops, as well as eggs and more calorie-rich cuts, such as breast with skin or neck meat. 7. Strong smell on breath or in stool even with natural food. Natural food tends to reduce odors. So if the smell is too strong, something is wrong. This can indicate digestive problems, a lack of enzymes, or bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine. SIBO. Correction: review the macronutrient ratio, reduce excess protein, introduce fresh mint and parsley into the diet, and supplement with digestive enzymes or use natural probiotics, such as unsweetened kefir or kombucha drops. These 7 signs are just the surface of what your dog's body might be trying to say. Observing, recording, and adapting are the foundations of a truly effective BARF diet. There is no fixed formula. There is conscious adjustment. And it all starts with attention to details that no one sees, but that your pet's body feels every day. The body does not always speak with screams. Sometimes he whispers. And in BARF, these whispers can start before the tutor even notices it. Small changes in behavior, slight changes in the coat, duller looks, slower digestions. All of this can be a sign that something, even if minimal, is out of balance. The question is not whether BARF works. The question is whether it is being adjusted for that particular organism. Each dog is a universe, and even when the food base is right, the details can compromise the results. A dish that is too high in lean protein, for example, may not offer enough fat to support metabolism. A diet with excess bones, on the other hand, can generate hard stools, intestinal irritations, or even reduced appetite. The problem appears gradually. The body tries to adapt, until the moment when he can't do it anymore. When the hair loses its shine, the answer may not be in the shampoo. It may be in the absence of zinc. When the dog scratches nonstop, even without fleas, the cause may not be allergy, but a lack of vitamin E or biotin. And when he looks tired lying down more than usual, it may not be age. It may be a simple iron deficiency or poor protein variation. The signs appear together, and it is this combination that should raise the alarm. Dull coat plus dry feces, mild itching plus strong breath, lack of muscle mass even eating well. None of this is normal, and the body signals before failure. The question is, who is watching? The first correction needs to come from attention. Record what is served. Notice the animal's response. Understand what has changed since last week. Most mistakes in BARF come from repetition. Always the same protein, the same cuts, the same way of serving. And the body, no matter how resilient it is, needs variation to function. Not everything needs a supplement. Not every imbalance requires capsule. Often a simple adjustment, such as swapping chicken breast for sardines or adding raw egg yolk 3 times a week, can restore what seemed to be wrong in the behavior. Quality fat, natural probiotics, fresh offal, filtered water, and food at room temperature. These are small details, but they are what sustain the real basis of a healthy organism. If the dog starts licking its paws, watch the interfingerprints. If your breath changes, review the macronutrient balance. If the stool hardens too much, reduce the bones and increase the fibrous vegetables. The logic is simple. Where there is a signal, there is a response. But it requires listening. And the tutor who listens carefully avoids symptoms even before they appear. Health at BARF is built on the silence of detail. And most dogs that get sick with natural food don't do it by excess. They get sick from subtle negligence, by repetition, for lack of reading what the body says when there is still time to correct it. Prevention in BARF does not begin when the symptom appears. It starts days before. It starts the moment you choose what you are going to put on your plate. It starts with the way you distribute the ingredients throughout the week. And above all, it starts with your ability to see what your dog's body needs before he needs to ask for it. Creating an efficient eating routine with BARF is not about setting up a fixed menu. It is to build a cycle, a food flow that respects the body's time and offers everything it needs, without overloading, without repeating, without omitting. And for that, the secret is in the smart rotation. Think of the week as a dance of nutrients. Monday with chicken, Tuesday with sardines, Wednesday with ox heart, Thursday with liver, Friday with lean pork, Saturday with ground beef with a little homemade lard, Sunday with protein rest and lightly cooked vegetables. Nothing is fixed. Everything adapts according to the body's response, and every ingredient has a role, even those that seem too small. Viscera, for example, are not extras. They are the key. They are where fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K live. But they cannot be served in excess. 1 to 2 days a week in small portions is enough to balance it out. And always fresh. Always smelling good. Because oxidized viscera intoxicates. And disguised intoxication also generates silent symptoms. Another pillar is quality fat. He is not the villain, it's the fuel. Many owners run away from it for fear of diarrhea. But the problem is not fat. It is the way it is introduced. Good fat serves to transport vitamins, fuel the brain, and sustain energy. And when it comes from safe sources, such as well-prepared chicken skin, extra virgin olive oil in drops, or sardine oil, it becomes an ally. Vegetables also have a voice on the plate, but not to fill space. They help regulate intestinal transit, offer fiber that feeds the good bacteria in the intestine, and bring natural anti-inflammatory compounds. But beware, no excess, no raw vegetables in large quantities, and no heavy starch. The rule is clear: light, varied, and proportionate. The temperature of the food also matters. What comes straight out of the refrigerator cools the stomach, disrupts digestion, and can cause inconsistent stools, gas, or even mild vomiting. Always serve at room temperature, neither hot nor cold. Simple, but ignored by many. The central point of this routine is not to be rigid, it is to be sensitive. Because dogs don't talk, but they show. And the routine you build today defines the type of dog you'll have tomorrow. An animal with shiny fur, stable energy, a regulated gut, and lively eyes is a direct reflection of what you put, or don't put, on its plate. And when everything is working, the body shows subtle signs that it is in balance. Deep and peaceful sleep, steady breathing, interest in games, stools with the appropriate color, shape, and odor. And above all, presence. A dog that lives in the moment, that responds, that walks by your side with lightness. But all it takes is one wrong, repeated, badly preserved ingredient, and harmony begins to descend step by step. Therefore, all you can eat and follow up are not plus in the diet. They are the center of it. It is not necessary to wait for the situation to worsen to act. When a tutor understands the silent signals, he is no longer just someone who feeds. He becomes someone who cares. And BARF care doesn't have to be complex. It just needs to be mindful. Let's recap in a practical way the most effective adjustments for each type of symptom. If your dog has non-itchy hair loss, the focus should be on including good fat, such as sardines, cooked chicken skin, and small amounts of cold-pressed coconut oil, and vitamin E. 1 capsule a week under veterinary guidance can transform the shine of the coat in a few days. For dogs with itches without visible fleas or lesions, the key lies in reducing possible inflammatory sources, such as excess industrial chicken or fatty pork, introducing natural sources of omega-3, such as fresh sardines, and betting on anti-inflammatory vegetables such as cooked zucchini and lightly sautéed kale can reduce the process by weeks. If the problem is very soft or fluctuating stools, the solution is to lightly cook the vegetables, adjust the proportion of fleshy bones, decreasing if it is in excess, and check the temperature of the food. Very cold or fatty foods on an empty stomach are the biggest saboteurs of the intestinal flora. In the case of dogs with sudden apathy, dull eyes, and little disposition, the focus should be immediate. Review the bioavailable iron content with fresh red meat, liver, and bovine heart. Ensure the supply of complex vitamin B and observe real hydration. Even dogs that drink water can experience mild dehydration if the diet is too dry or high in unnatural sodium. Supplementation only comes in when dietary adjustments do not respond. And it should be done with natural supplements specific to BARF, never with human multivitamins. Products such as krill oil, oyster powder for calcium, or spirulina in correct doses can be allies, but never substitutes for a well-designed diet. To ensure that the plan runs smoothly, create a simple weekly checklist. Second, lean protein, plus green vegetable, plus a raw egg. Tuesday, fish, such as sardines, plus grated carrots, plus flaxseed oil. Wednesday, red meat, plus liver, plus a small raw garlic clove. Thursday, beef heart, plus boiled pumpkin, plus calcium supplement. Friday, chicken with skin, plus bitter leaves, arugula, escarole, plus small innard. Saturday, lean pork, plus kale, plus diced apple. Sunday, light diet with cooked vegetables, plus a partial fast in hay. The morning, nothing needs to be fixed. Everything can adapt to what you have, what your dog likes, what his body responds to best. But the logic needs to be maintained. Variety, balance, and vigilance. BARF requires presence, but it delivers health in return. And finally, remember a detail that few mention. BARF is alive. It changes with the seasons, with the age of the animal, with the hormonal phases, with the stress levels. An elderly dog does not eat like a puppy. An anxious dog needs more tryptophan. A dog in heat needs more iron. A dog that exercises needs more calories and recovery. When you understand this, food is no longer a dish, and it becomes a mirror, a reflection of all that your dog is, feels, and needs. You start to see before he gets sick, to act before it weakens, and to care with awareness, not with fear. A well-done BARF is not a miracle, but it is science applied with love.